Welcome to the Gone Fission Nuclear Report, your one-stop source for all the latest news from the Department of Energy's Environmental Management Program. Now, here's your host, Michael Butler.
Hello, and welcome to the Gone Fission Nuclear Report. Today is Monday, May 12th, 2025. Each week it seems there's more news about the emerging nuclear renaissance. New facilities are being announced, land is being purchased, construction permits are being issued, and the vision of a nuclear future continues to grow. This week is no different. Amentum, one of the country's largest environmental cleanup companies with major contracts across the Department of Energy complex, made news with a major announcement of a new venture in Oak Ridge. Mark Whitney, president of Amentum's Energy and Environment business, appeared before the East Tennessee Economic Council to announce his company's plans to establish a nuclear center of excellence in Oak Ridge. Whitney said the new center will serve as a strategic hub for nuclear expertise, engineering, and operational excellence. Oak Ridge has long been recognized as a pivotal site in the history of nuclear development. Originally established during World War II as part of the Manhattan Project, Oak Ridge has evolved into a premier center for nuclear research, energy, and national security. Its rich heritage, coupled with a highly skilled workforce and robust infrastructure, makes it an ideal location and the natural fit for designating this centrally located region as Amentum's North American Nuclear Center of Excellence. Whitney said the center will further Amentum's position at the forefront of nuclear solutions needed for large-scale power generation, advanced energy technologies, and strengthening the national security of the United States. The center's core mission will support the expansion of nuclear power in large and small-scale capacities while leveraging decades of Amentum's global experience in the nuclear industry. Leading Amentum's Nuclear Center of Excellence in Oak Ridge is John Eschenberg, a veteran of the nuclear industry with over 35 years of experience in a variety of highly regulated defense, commercial, and government settings. We had the opportunity to sit down with Mark Whitney to talk more about the center and Amentum's long-standing interest in Oak Ridge. Before joining Amentum, Mark was a senior Department of Energy official in Oak Ridge and at the agency's headquarters in Washington, D.C. Here's our conversation with Mark. Well, our guest now is Mark Whitney. Mark is president of Amentum's Energy and Environment Group. And welcome to the podcast, Mark.
Thank you, Mike. Really a pleasure to be here.
Well, we're so happy to have you. Let's start by talking about Amentum. Amentum was formed as a spinoff of AECOM in 2020, and your Wikipedia shows that you're the second largest government services contractor in the United States. We all know that Amentum has a rich history as a successor to some of the best and most well-known companies in the DOE contracting world, companies like Westinghouse, Washington Group, URS. And it sounds like things are going pretty well for Amentum today. What's your assessment about your company's status?
Yeah, we think things are going pretty well. We agree with you on that assessment, Mike. It's been quite a journey since 2020, right? You've mentioned the spinoff from AECOM. Since that point, we've made some acquisitions, a couple of billion-dollar-plus acquisitions, and then, of course, we had the merger that was completed with Jacobs Critical Mission Solutions and their cyber and intel business this past September, which is really after that short 5 years, it's created a company that's a true engineering and technology solutions company. We work across five main domains: energy, environment, of course, which hopefully we'll talk a little bit about today, but also defense and space and intelligence and civilian. We really bring a global capability and global reach across all those domains, working in 80 countries with our 50,000 plus employees. But what we're really proud of is the kind of enduring relationships that we have with our clients, decades long relationships with clients and customers. We feel like they count on us across these domains in many areas. So we're proud of that. And we think those relationships and the work that we've done, over the years has contributed to things that are good for us, like a industry leading $47 billion contract backlog. And we're really excited about the path forward for the company. We're less than a year old, but we have a great leadership team and just great people that since the merger, this was a significant merger in September that created this $14 billion company. But we feel like we've hit the ground running. We have a energized workforce, a really great technical workforce across these 80 countries. And so we're excited about the future, and we feel like it's right for the company and for the customers that we serve.
Well, 80 countries and 50,000 employees, that's a pretty impressive organization and span. Let's talk about energy and the environment. Your group, Amentum, is a leader in the cleanup in the DOE complex. Can you give us a quick rundown of some of your cleanup work that's going on, your contracts today? I know you're the lead contractor there in Oak Ridge along with Honeywell. Where else is Amentum active in cleanup today?
Yeah, we are, and we're very proud of our work in Oak Ridge. It's been almost 15 years now between the two contracts with Amentum-led cleanup contractors here with UCOR. So we're really proud of what we've done and the accomplishments over the past 10 years or so. But there's great work being done across the complex, not just by Amentum, by many companies. But we're proud to be part of the Savannah River mission completion team. Really focused on the 31 million plus gallons of waste in the tanks there at Savannah River, and focus on kind of treating and closing down the tanks as well. Out at Hanford, a significant presence, Central Plateau Cleanup Company, a partner on the new Hanford Tanks contract, and a partner to Bechtel on the waste treatment plant project, which is a really important project as well for the entire, I think, complex and for the entire DOE. And we're hoping to have some fairly large milestones achieved this year. So stand by for that. We're excited about that. But really, in between, Savannah River and Hanford as well, the lead contractor at Idaho for the Idaho Cleanup Project, at Paducah, West Valley, and just last year won the Portsmouth D&D as with our partners Fluor job. And so we're looking forward to starting the transition for that contract soon. And I'll just make maybe just mention the fact that being on the Oak Ridge, Portsmouth, and the Paducah contracts, we think will provide benefits. Having at least one company that's on all three of those that have similarities in scope, not analogous, of course, but definite similarities, provides benefits to the client. And our focus as a company will be making sure that the client can realize those benefits moving forward. So we're excited about the work that we do, and really committed to this mission, the cleanup mission.
Before AECOM and Amentum, you were a senior manager with the Department of Energy, including leading the Oak Ridge office and leading the EM group at headquarters. Having observed and managed the cleanup for a while, how would you characterize the pace at Oak Ridge? Are you pleased with what you see in terms of what's happening with cleanup there?
Yeah, I think pleased would be an understatement, Mike. I've been very impressed and proud of the team here, what's been accomplished. If you look back at Vision 2016, a lot of accomplishments before that, but looking back just within the past 10-year window, Vision 2016 with K27, the final of the 5 gaseous diffusion plants being demolished, a big day for DOE, a big milestone for the complex. Vision 2020, which was the demolition of the entire uranium enrichment complex there, and by the way, 4 years ahead of original schedule and saving the taxpayer $500 million in life cycle costs. Really, obviously, a big achievement as well. And then last year, Vision 2024, which was the completion of the cleanup of the East Tennessee Technology Park. So really, some major milestones that have happened there over the past 10 years. That it's just hard not to be proud of the work that's been done here. And Mike, if you think about the fact that I left Oak Ridge in 2014 to go back to DOE headquarters, and consider that all these successes happened after I left, I guess they just needed me to leave and get out of their way to be able to do some really great work. So yes, I'm very, very proud and very happy with the accomplishments and the progress over the past 10 years plus.
Mark, in many ways, Oak Ridge has become the springboard for what's being called the nuclear renaissance, a resurgence of interest in nuclear power for the future. What role do you think environmental cleanup has played in this renaissance, and are you optimistic about the prospects for the future?
I am optimistic about the prospects for nuclear moving forward, and I think cleanup. There are a lot of challenges, by the way. Although I'm optimistic, there are a lot of challenges ahead of the industry to achieve some of the ambitious goals and projections that have been made for expansion of nuclear power capacity. But cleanup can be the answer to some of those, right? In multiple ways. One, just being able to achieve cleanup in an efficient and effective and safe way, that provides confidence to stakeholders of the nuclear industry, right? It really lends credibility to what we're trying to do. But even more tangibly and practically speaking, we've seen what we can do in Oak Ridge, for example, with cleanup. And from cleanup today to nuclear tomorrow, it really is. It may be a tagline, but it's real. We've seen the cleanup program here really help enable the nuclear resurgence in Oak Ridge, finishing the cleanup at East Tennessee Technology Park and transferring over 1,800 acres to the community for economic development, creating 1,400 plus new permanent jobs, new investment of $1.5 billion, 25 nuclear companies setting up business here over the past several years. Oak Ridge really has the potential, if it isn't already, of being the hub of the nuclear renaissance in the United States. And much of that has been made possible by nuclear cleanup. But there are challenges, right? We're seeing them, and the challenges in the U.S. are not necessarily unique. There are challenges being faced globally, very similar challenges. The nuclear renaissance is happening, globally. We're at the cusp. We're on the cusp of nuclear energy resurgence right now. But I'm hopeful, based on what we've seen globally, that and the policies that we now have in place and the support for nuclear out of the administration, and in Oak Ridge, for example, the support from the governor, material support to the economy here from a nuclear standpoint. Nuclear is absolutely critical to our future and the future that as we envision it, right? And we really need to get it right. And I think we're on the pathway. And I think Oak Ridge and the cleanup efforts both here, and we've heard Roger Jarrell, who's EM2 now and leading the EM program. He's talked about Paducah and Portsmouth also being great opportunities for reindustrialization and supporting the nuclear power expansion. So, yeah, I think cleanup has an opportunity to enable that in many ways. So, I'm confident, but there are challenges ahead of us. But the challenges, always present opportunities, right? And that's the way we should look at it.
Well, you talked about the challenges. Let's talk about those a little bit more. What are the biggest challenges potentially standing in the way of a resurgence in nuclear power?
Well, if you think about, the projections that have been made, a lot of that based on the need as electricity as an overall, kind of percentage of energy demand it's been increasing. It's expected to increase significantly over the next 20 to 25 years. The demand for energy, electricity is significant. Nuclear is going to be necessary, and we've seen the IAEA and the IEA, among others, come out with projections over the past year or so of 40% increase in global nuclear power capacity to 2.5 times current capacity over the next 25 years increase. That's significant. And you think about how many gigawatt new builds that is, new reactors that is, new SMRs. I mean, we're talking hundreds and hundreds. And so the question is a question of sufficiency and availability in my mind. Is there enough money, right? Financing is going to be an issue. It's already an issue, right? In many ways related to the risk of some of perceived for some of these big capital new build projects. Is the sufficiency with respect to the workforce, the technical skills? Do we have enough to support this type of growth? The supply chain, EPC capacity. So sufficiency and availability is a very big question. We're seeing it already, frankly, but to be able to support the growth that we're talking about, a lot of work's going to have to be done. A lot of investment, public and private, is going to have to be made to make this work. Infrastructure, the grid, reliability, that's obviously a concern. There are a number of concerns, regulatory burden, unnecessary regulatory burden, I should say. There are things that will need to be addressed. The great thing is I think there is a recognition of these issues, and we're seeing globally some of these issues being addressed, and not just by the state-owned enterprises from Russia and China that have advantages. We're seeing other Western countries on project by project basis address some of these, whether it's in Poland and the UK, using things like creative contract structures, investment, government investment by export credit agencies. It's going to take a combination, and on the financing side of public and private, and we have to de-risk, right? Not just the gigawatts, but small modular reactors. The prices have to come down. And so I think we get to a point where you can have serial production. We've seen it happen in China. Here in the U.S., whether it's gigawatt or small modular reactors get a book of business, that's when the cost will start to come down, and the risk profile will start to decrease as well. So yeah, a lot of challenges, but again, opportunities for innovation and creativity, and that's what we do in the United States, right? And that's what Amentum, we're really proud to be a part of the global nuclear resurgence, and we want to help support that resurgence at home in Oak Ridge and across the United States, and so we're very excited about that.
With the cutbacks that are being experienced in government funding today under the new administration, do you have any concerns about funding for cleanup going forward? Is there any reason to believe it won't continue to be a priority?
Well, I would say that every year, no matter what the administration is, what the policies is, we're all concerned every year and what's going to happen with the budget, whether it's cleanup or other really important areas for the country. And like anyone outside of the federal budget decision-making process, I can't really speculate, but what I can say is, I can point to what we've heard from, new Secretary of Energy Chris Wright and his focus on unleashing commercial nuclear power in the U.S. and his statements about the importance of nuclear cleanup. And I think the folks working on the program, whether it's in the communities, whether it's at DOE headquarters, whether in the site office, we all feel, the contractors, we all feel a sense of obligation to the communities to get this work done, right? And so that's a huge driver. And we have people in important positions that have been fighting for this program for years. Congressman Fleischman, I'll mention as one of them. I know there are a lot of other folks, and so when you single out one person, it's a risk, but he has been a, kind of a champion for the program in many ways, including funding. And I know he's very supportive, not just in Oak Ridge, across the country, across the complex, and supporting the cleanup program. So I think I'm hopeful that the budgets will continue. I mean, they've grown significantly since I left the department as a federal employee, which is great across administrations. I'm hopeful that continues because there's still a lot of really important work to be done. But we'll see. There are important decisions that the government has to make as well, and competing interests as always, and so we have to kind of understand that. But we'll go with what we get, and do the best we can, and that's what this program has done for since 1989.
With the need for advanced energy sources in the country, we've talked some about small modular reactors. What capabilities does Amentum have to help the U.S. succeed in this area and supporting the Secretary of Energy's vision for nuclear energy? Specifically, what role can Amentum play in the advanced energy sector in the Oak Ridge region?
Yeah, Mike, I'll tell you one thing is I think that people may not be aware of the really extensive nuclear capabilities that Amentum does have now. We have over 9,000 employees in our energy environment business, the majority of those working on nuclear issues globally in 20 countries right now. We work across the life cycle, nuclear life cycle, from front end permitting, licensing, siting, engineering, design, to construction management, operations, obviously the back end with decommissioning, waste management, and we have some kind of bring those capabilities across right now. Currently working on large gigawatt projects in Europe as the project delivery partner, supporting SMR development. Multiple vendors. We're technology agnostic, but want to make sure that SMR technology succeeds, because I think it's important to our energy future. So help from a developmental and an engineering design standpoint. Support from an engineering standpoint, fuel fabrication companies, enrichment companies, and also support governments. We're supporting. I'd mentioned. We support Poland, Czechia, Norway, Netherlands, United Kingdom, countries that are either expanding nuclear power or looking to potentially introduce nuclear power. So helping them on the front end evaluate that. And we have in the U.S. and in Oak Ridge, including some really great technical capabilities and great people doing important work. And so what we'd like to do is really bring those capabilities to bear, not just globally, and we do a lot of work in the U.S. across the complex and for companies, but we really want to help enable that nuclear resurgence, because we think we have great capabilities. And again, we don't manufacture anything, but we are an engineering and services company in the nuclear space, and we really just want to help Oak Ridge be successful as the hub of the nuclear resurgence in the U.S. and more broadly the U.S. achieve nuclear power expansion to kind of meet the electricity and the power needs that we have.
Well, Mark, do you have any plans for Oak Ridge in particular?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, and we just recently announced that we are establishing a nuclear center of excellence. Amentum is in Oak Ridge, building off of the capabilities we have here. We have a great engineering team, design engineering team, hundreds of folks there. We have Amentum corporate executives here in Oak Ridge focused on the nuclear business and helping support the nuclear power expansion. We have a great team at UCOR, right, doing cleanup with great capabilities and a track record of success, and we want to bring all that together as a company, as well as the more global and regional capabilities into Oak Ridge, for Oak Ridge to be our hub for Amentum, our hub supporting the nuclear resurgence in Oak Ridge, but more broadly in the United States. And so our focus is bringing the whole of Amentum approach to Oak Ridge and really helping support the nuclear power expansion and the nuclear industry. So we're excited about that. A lot more to come on that as we build that out, and we're looking forward to supporting the community, which has been so instrumental, I think, here in Oak Ridge in paving the way for this, reindustrialization and kind of being at the tip of the spear for the nuclear renaissance here in the U.S. And we're looking forward to partner with them, partner with our clients and the government, bring it all together and be successful.
I want to press you a little bit on that. Can you give us any more detail about the Nuclear Energy Center of Excellence?
Well, yeah, we're already here, and what we're doing, I'll give you a little detail on some of the people to give you an idea. So we have Cheryl Cabell, who will be working in our Oak Ridge office here and supporting the Nuclear Center of Excellence. Cheryl is a senior vice president for us, and she's the over all of our support to DOE and the National Nuclear Security Administration. We have John Eschenberg, who is an Oak Ridge guy himself, long time here, years supporting government and industry on the nuclear side, particularly large complex projects. He'll be leading our Center of Excellence efforts out of Oak Ridge. Again, it's an important center, not just for including Oak Ridge, but also for the rest of the United States as we look at projects across the country. So we're looking at co-locating that and bringing all those capabilities and experience here in Oak Ridge. I'd mentioned the design center that we have here. Levitt Cox, vice president for Amentum, working here out of the Oak Ridge office, leading all the design. They have 500 employees that he's in charge of. A large portion of those are here in Oak Ridge, and so I'm excited about this, Mike, and I think it's really, going to be a benefit to us, but more important as a company to be able to co-locate that excellence and that talent that we have, but also to the community and to the industry writ large. So looking forward to that, and I do plan to spend more time here, maybe a week, a month. I haven't told the staff here if they may not want me to be here a week, a month, but I do plan to work a week, a month out of this, at least as we get it kicked off and get it moving forward. So I'm gonna leave it at that and ask you to wait and see the press releases and all the great things that we're doing moving forward.
Mark Whitney, president of Amentum Energy and Environment Group. Thank you very much for joining us on the podcast today.
Great. Thank you, Mike. Really appreciate your time.